Hey, so we posted something, one of our clips on IG, and Steph commented on the post and said, "Roman, there's something on your chin."
Yep, it's not going away either. It's part. There's nothing they could say. There's no. It's this loophole. My whole life, I was like, dude, I just want a beard or a goatee, and they won't let me fucking have it because it's the fire service. And I'm like, son of a bitch. But then they allow these.
Look.
They
up.
allow
Does
the
it connect on the bottom.
Nope.
No, so it's you got little chap things.
Yeah.
You got little
handlebars,
a little ass chap riders.
But the way I do it, when you look this way, you think it's a goatee. It's not until I like lift up, and it still looks like one from here. I gotta like really lift up, so it's like an optical illusion. It's the best. I love it. It's not going away.
Interesting.
I'm so happy.
Dude, I'm
so happy. He's got stirrups on his face. Yeah.
Assless chaps.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Assless chaps. There's the name of the episode. Assless chaps.
My God.
Haven't even got into the show yet.
Haven't even started the show yet.
Yeah, I think there's until 50.
It's been recording though, so he can always drop it. That's a good clip. We've named the show.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
That has to be a first. Name the show before the show started. That has to be a first.
Assless chaps.
Yeah, it's never happened before, I don't believe. But I have a very poor memory. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Mario era, chapter 105.
Siete cinco de Mario. It's a me. It's a Mario. Yeah.
You see Mario out in the snow in his chopper?
Yeah. I'm in a helicopter. Look at me. Whee!
Chopper.
Get to the
Dude,
chopper.
that's a nice chopper. That's like Airwolf chopper.
Come on.
That
Was such a Nick Saban move. And Nick Saban can't pull that move anymore. He's gone. Hey, I did see, boys, we are revolutionary. Because you know how many times I've seen people call them Gen Pop? They're like, welcome to Gen Pop. I saw like 3 or 4 other accounts, Hurricane accounts, call them Gen Pop.
That's because I tweeted from the account. Welcome to Gen Pop. I've done that a few times since I'll like retweet Pate or retweet somebody else because Pate was talking about how
the trust fund fans.
The trust fund fans. I thought that was
so
awesome.
True. So true.
He's like, you guys don't know any different.
No.
He's like, I think you guys might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Like those fans might be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta, I mean, I get it. You gotta feel for them. We were kind of that way.
We were. Outside of a couple of years of probation in the late 90s.
We were kind of that way. We were brought up as trust fund fans as you could be back then.
We were.
We were. So we're like in the same boat. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of listeners of this show are not. A lot of listeners, I gotta be honest with you. I don't know why you guys are fans at all. I mean, a lot of you listen to the show. If you're under 30, what year are we in?
2023, 2024, right?
My goodness. Oh, we're off to a great start.
If you're under 30, you don't remember any. I mean, you remember 2000, 2001. You don't remember 86, 87. You don't remember any of that stuff.
No.
You're too young for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know why you guys, honestly. I mean, dedicated, obviously, because I mean, you've been watching dog shit football for 20 years.
You're fans because of your dad, most likely, or an uncle, or a grandfather.
Man, that was good.
Yeah,
he had a really good segment on that. He had a really good segment on the Canes and the double standard that Miami faces. If you guys haven't seen it, go watch Josh Pate kick Josh. That was really good.
It is true because my son's not a trust fund fan. I kind of forced him into this. The only thing he's got going for him, he's a Dodgers fan. Before the whole Shohei Ohtani and Glasgow and all that stuff. My goodness. I say Glasgow because there's a Glasgow Glasnow. It's Glasnow. Yeah, that's my fire EMS side just came out. And that doesn't really happen that often, by the way. But my goodness, if it wasn't for his LA Dodgers, that kid is in misery because he likes the Dolphins too. He likes the Heat. He likes the Panthers. He's also in South Florida. He just likes the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But I roped him into being a Canes fan. And then, of course, he did it this year. Dad, do you think I'll ever see the Hurricanes win? Like, oh, no. What did I do?
We went to two things. Number one, Brian and Fia's daughter, Devin, he tells me the other day, she's become like a Canes fan, like closet Canes fan. She's 12. And They were out playing golf. and they were watching the bowl game. He's like, I just want to let you know, she watched the entire thing to the end on my phone. I said, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to do this to you or to her. And please tell Devs that I apologize from the bottom of my heart. It's just not right of me to do. I had another thing. What else did you talk about? I had something else to say. I had two things to say. Look at that. I had two things to say, and I can't remember the fucking second one halfway through the first one.
Yeah, there you go. No,
the Dementia Bowl boys. He's 2023. You don't know what you're about to say.
What else were what were we talking about? We were talking about
this. While you think of what you were saying, let me just mention that threw it out there on Twitter from the account. For the last number of years, we have had a private Discord chat that we were charging for, this, that, whatever. Needless to say, long story short, it is now free open chat for any Cane fan that wants to get in. If you do, all you have to do is just DM Scoop directly, and he will make sure that you are into that chat without a problem.
I don't even have the link to get in.
True story.
So I can promise you I won't give it to you.
True story. We have a chat. It's a text chain. Scoop's like, whoever put that out there needs to answer these DMs.
Like, you guys got to man,
I'm not doing
it. That DM section, bro.
Because I'm not doing it.
It's being handled. The mods are handling it. Don't worry about it. People are we've already had about like 20 people that are that have joined
awesome.
in the last couple hours.
It is a lot of fun in there. The OBB family is a lot of fun in there.
Listen, and come with us on game days, because it's quite, and there's a myriad of different channels. Somebody's like, I just can't wait to get back into the Star Wars channel. It's like, yeah, we got that too. You think of a channel, it's in there, and if you want another channel, we can add it. But I
got it. Hold on.
Oh, he remembered.
We took the girls to a hockey game. Panthers. This was right before they went on their 9-game winning streak or whatever it was. We're sitting at the hockey game. It's 4-2, 5-2 Blues. And Maven is just pissed off. And we're like, what's up, Maves? And she's like, we never win anything. Literally, I don't think I've taken her to any game.
Think about the Canes game she's been to.
That's what I'm saying. In any stadium, she's been, if those of you guys know, she's been to Middle Tennessee State and Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech, she thought there was a win.
Fuck my life.
All I had to do was kneel.
All you had to do just sit down, bro. Sit down.
Which was, I still laugh because out of the oops moments that ESPN of the year, that was 3. It was in the top 3.
That was not like the top.
Not Neil. I saw some funny ones that won 1 and 2, but still, as far as it was the top one funny. Coaching oops of the year. The other ones were actually plays. So,
and here's what else we also know is that in 2024, Scoop, you can bring a daughter to a game, just the two of you. You cannot bring you cannot bring the whole clan together. That is not allowed. You did 2 years in a row. It did not work out. So now you can pick 2 games and bring 1 to each. So.
Steph was there for both of those as well.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You can't bring the whole crew. It can't be a family affair, bro. You're like,
and you know what's sad? And the first,
oh my God, I told you I got looked at, and somebody told me I'm not so sure I can let you back in here.
Yeah.
So he brings his daughter, Maeve, has never seen a win. Those are her first 2 games, right? And that's what she saw. My first ever game that I took my kids to, I think you know this, right? The first ever game. You know what game I brought my 2 kids?
I do.
Which, Toast, you remember this? Clemson, when we lost 58-0.
Yeah.
That was literally, and I remember going to the quarter deck in Davie, real close to Las Patas. And while I was there, I just kept looking at the TV screen, refreshing my phone, because I'm like, I know they're going to fire Al Golden. They better fire Al Golden. And like, what's Dad doing? He's not paying attention. Yes, they fired him. Yes.
Yeah.
So happy.
For the record, I took my child to his first game. It was the Ohio State championship game, and then I went ahead and put him up for adoption.
Oh no!
I don't remember him at the house.
Yeah, I don't remember him too.
All right, boys. Let's talk about some stuff. First thing I want to bring up, a weird little rumor. And I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know if you guys have heard anything, but rumors that maybe there could be a staff change in the secondary, and Adai may be gone, and that maybe Pat Surtain coming in.
Yeah, I think he was rumored last year as well.
Haven't heard it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't know anything about it.
Is it maybe because FSU now is losing money and they don't have that poor they can't afford him anymore? I don't know.
Well, you saw the news today about know our little brother up north. Not only so
Mom
they got
and Dad
the NIL.
Give him a 20.
Yeah, NIL, right? Their NIL whatever issues they have issues, stuff like that. They're getting NCAA infractions committees. They're coming down on them hard. Blah blah blah.
Well, the tip of the spear broke off.
That. The tip of the spear broke off, and we'll just take a guess where it broke off in. Anyway, and I'm just saying. So then the latest thing was too. So the NCAA kind of adopted or amended their suits. So
it's a countersuit.
Basically,
they're
going to countersuit.
They're going to keep them.
Can you imagine they came out where they were in the black, right? Or sorry, in the red. They're in the red for their fiscal year, and then they might have to get sued by the NCAA. I mean, the ACC to stay in the ACC. Stay hot, guys. Stay. Could you just imagine that? You go undefeated. Oh, we're back. Just to drive off a cliff. You couldn't make it up.
It's been an exorbitant amount of misery for the last couple months. It's wild, man.
I'm here for it.
Like it's one thing after another. Back to the Adai and Surtain. Would you be okay with that? Would you like that move?
Absolutely. I would have no problem with that. I mean, if Mario sees a reason to move on from Adai, I'm going to go ahead and trust him in that call. And if you want to replace him, I would absolutely love Pat Surtain here. I mean, from his American Heritage roots to just his NFL roots,
great
Hall
connections,
of Famer.
Great connections.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Nope,
amazing
question.
Recruiter. Yeah, I would let him do that. I have no issue with that.
And Pat played with Jason Taylor, right?
And you're sticking it in FSU's eye.
Pat played with Jason Taylor, right?
Yes.
They played together? So there's some
Surtain and Madison, bro.
That's fine. Pat also deterred anyone and everyone from his school to go to the University of Miami for years.
He rumped it. Well, that was Rump too. Rump did the same thing. But now Mario's back. Listen, I think that curse got broken too. We got Fletcher. So Mario is every person who wished us ill will. It's not happening anymore. Mario kind of erases that. So I'm not if he did kind of sour people to come into the U, I think Mario can erase that.
I think it's safe to say that dam has been taken down from American Heritage. We've been getting a couple the last cycle.
St. Thomas as well.
Yeah.
So
he has absolutely rebuilt recruiting routes locally that had gone dry, for whatever reason. He has got those things pumping oil again. Yeah,
and he can recruit quarterbacks too.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. So we did the recap show, or I should say the Cam Ward recap show, morning after. Now you've had a few more days to think about it, Ro. I'm sure you've gone back into the lab and you've watched even more tape. Any additional feelings and thoughts on Mr. Ward coming to Miami, what that might mean? I know Greg McElroy from ESPN is saying this could be the reason why Miami now can finally get to the top of the ACC.
Listen, he's good enough to get you a win or two. And sorry, Maeve, but if they would have kneeled that game, Sweetheart would have witnessed a win instead of a loss and wouldn't have been that upset at the Panthers game. They would have won 8 games, and he could potentially get you to that 9th and 10th win. That's how much of an improved skill set I think he brings to the table, his improv skill set. And that's something we haven't seen. The kid can just really do. He's got some ball security issues. We've established that. But going back in the lab, and I have watched some other games like the Apple Cup and stuff like that, I'm just confident in what he's going to be able to bring to the table. Toast. I just really do. I said it last week, and I listened back. Cam Ward is going to have the Miami Hurricanes ranked in the preseason. That's how I feel. That's how I think the talking heads are going to respond to it. We can ask Roddy. He's coming on soon.
Please don't.
Yeah, no, let's ask him. With the emergence of that.
I don't mind if you ask him, but please don't rank us in the preseason, man. We had the last 2 seasons we've been preseason ranked.
And we don't deserve it. Don't get me wrong. We don't deserve it. We know that the talent level has risen. We just had some questions at quarterback. We ranked it a D and an F, but now after watching this, I'm very confident. I was like, yeah, give him an A, because I think Cam is that guy. I really, really do. And you saw some pictures surfacing online with Xavier Restrepo. He's already bonding with his new quarterback. They're hanging out together. He's a remarkable weapon, and that's something else too. I'm not saying it in light of, but Cam Ward Xavier had over 1,000 yards. He's a record setter. He came back from his senior year. That was an important get. That was huge. He is so good on that field. He's uncoverable at times. Trust me, the ACC tries. Even when everybody was saying Tyler looks at him and only him, he still got over 1,000 yards. So Cam's going to have that luxury. And then I'm going to couple it what Scoop said. They're going to be able to attract some wide receivers off the backs of this. So I think after that recap show, I'm digesting. I think it's good. I really do. I'm more confident. I'm drinking more Kool-Aid than Scoop. Scoop's not drinking any. But I'm more confident that Cam Ward pickup is going to do some things for us next year, and it has to.
You can have some of my Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I took your Kool-Aid because you said you're not drinking it.
I'm not drinking it. Here's what I'm not drinking it on. I'm not drinking it on the entire body of work of a season until I see that other issues potentially can be erased or fixed or rectified or managed or whatever. Do I think that Cam Ward has an exceptional skill set? Yeah, absolutely. And he was the top quarterback in the portal for a reason. And he's electric. And he's a gunslinger. And he had a top 5 passing attack at Washington State. So does he bring a dimension here that we haven't seen? I mean, I can't even really go back and think of someone who's been comparable, right? Go tell me somebody who's been comparable with his particular skill set at the University of Miami that you can remember. Crickets, right? I mean, that's true. So I'm not denying that. So can he get us an extra win? Can he get us an extra 2 wins? He has the experience that Toast begs for. He's played in the big games. He's played on the biggest stages. So I'm excited about it. I told you, I look, there's never a time where I don't want to go undefeated and win a national championship. I promise you, I'm not going to be pissed about it. But I need all this to come together. So yeah, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid.
I am so I guess I'm kind of with Scoop. I guess I'm more on Scoop's side. Whereas, so for me, everything with Mario in this staff, there's 2 aspects to it. There's the offseason and the season. And he's amazing in the offseason, bro. He's A+. He's A+ Mario. And he has been that through each of his cycles here. He has been dominating the recruiting trail. He's done great in the portal, picking and choosing what he needed. He just landed the quarterback that we've all been waiting for, I guess, now years. They've got all the talent. I guess what I am not just going to blindly believe is that this staff will get the most out of that talent and put them all in the best position to win. Because I haven't seen that yet. I believe that they are all smart enough to do that, 100%. I believe that they all have the football knowledge to be able to absolutely do that this year. But because I haven't seen it, and I've actually seen things that kind of go against that, that's why I can't just blindly be like, oh, yeah, no, we're going to do that. Oh, yeah, no, we're going to do that. Oh, yeah, we're going to have an awesome offense. We're going to have Cam Ward's going to do it. He should be able to. Yes, 100%. Its potential's there. The staff now has to prove that to me, though, during the season, because they've shown shortcomings. And I can't pretend. I'm not going to sit here and pretend at my goddamn advanced age that I didn't see those, that I haven't seen those. I'm not going to pretend Georgia Tech didn't happen. I'm not going to pretend Middle Tennessee State didn't happen. I'm not going to pretend any of those things didn't happen, bro. Saw them with my own 2 eyes. So you got to show me something.
You know what? Listen to you guys talk. I just had this revelation. Mario is a great architect. He's got the blueprint. Okay? We see it. We see the talent acquisition. We see what he's able to do in the portal. We see that. He was successful. He's a great architect. He needs to, this year, translate that over to the construction side. Because you have the blueprint, brother. We see it. Now you got to build us the house. Because every time it looks like it's building, every time you every offseason is the blueprint. But every time the season comes and you try to build that house with that blueprint, it just falls apart. So hire the construction company, get yourself surrounded, humble yourself to get the construction company to build us that great house. Because University of Miami fans, we haven't enjoyed something in quite a long time. You heard the opening monologue with our children watching loss after loss. They don't know when they're not trust fund fans. They're not Alabama fans. And it's all going to rely on you, Mario. And you've been one of the greatest architects we've seen with our eyes, with all our fandom combined. And you're pushing over 100 years of fandom. You're one of the greatest architects we've seen. We'll give you that praise. What you're able to do in terms of recruiting, what you get in the portal, what you were able to do with Cam Ward is impressive. Only a few guys at the University of Miami can boast that architect frame. But they were able to build a house. You still haven't, and you need to build us a house. And in a hurry. In a hurry. Please.
Build us a house.
Like a garage, right? No carport.
Like 4. 2 on one side and 2 on the other with a nice horseshoe, orange and green driveway. That's what I want in that house.
A little fountain in the middle. You have a butterfly staircase right at the entrance.
Sebastian and nice. Sebastian fountain right in the middle.
Yeah.
I want a couple Lambos in there.
Here we go.
2 stories.
One orange, one green.
We're building the Canes residential home.
There you go.
That's what we need. Not dilapidated shacks.
Film room theater.
It's hurricane proof too, brother. Cat 5. We got this. We need it. We need this house.
Begging for a house.
Oh my God. You talk about wide receiver. So how badly, miss? Let's just talk about how badly do we need to get 1 or 2 in the portal, or do you have faith? Listen, we raved about these kids they brought in the last couple of years. Is it time for them to step up, or do we need to go get somebody to put in addition?
I think the University of Miami is doing it right because obviously, listen, we lost our 3 and 4 wide receiver. Would you say Brashard was our 4th wide receiver? Okay. And I think they look at it from an NFL GM perspective because they place a value, right? I don't think we're going to see much of a drop off with Brashard because we have Ray. Kobe's going to be a little bit of a different kind of a mindset because he was the tall wide receiver, but you got a couple freshmen.
Yeah, I mean, you got Horton too.
So you're not trying to replace like a 1 and 2. You're trying to replace a 3 and a 4. And I feel okay with that.
Okay.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, one of our favorites from the ACC Network, ESPN family, it is Mr. Roddy Jones.
Roddy! Woo! What's up?
What's up, boys? How are you? It's great to see your smiling faces. I mean, you guys look phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
We're happy. It's off season. We're always happy in the off
season.
Yeah,
we're always happy in the off season, dude.
It's the time for optimism. Like once the last snap happens, we are turning the page. It's spring practice. Everybody's got the answer in the portal. Every recruit's going to be a first-round draft pick. It's the time for optimism. I love it.
Or they're going to be a 5th-round draft pick, so they go ahead and decide to come to Miami.
As long as they stay. There was a period there where those 5th-rounders would leave after their junior year, and you're like, dude, what are we doing here? Now, hopefully, they'll at least stay until their last season.
I gotta be honest with you, and we were talking about this earlier, and we've talked about it for the past few weeks, and you give us your take on this. I'm still like low here. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. Okay. I have gotten to a point here where unless you can show me on the field, and look, I love the Cam Ward signing, and I know we're going to get a receiver or 2, and I love the fact that we got the center from Indiana, and the trenches are great. The kid from Marshall on the edge, I love it, and there's a lot of sense of optimism, a lot of reason to be happy.
Yeah,
but I'm not buying it.
So I understand your hesitation. I do. And look, I think both the Miami experience of being a Miami fan over the last, I don't even know how many years you want to qualify it, probably 2 decades, but also combined with the Mario Cristobal experience, which you asked the people at Oregon and it felt sort of unfulfilled. I think at Miami so far in terms of wins, it's been unfulfilled. And I hate to say it, I hate to sort of go not moral victory, but this was never going to be a year where they won 10 games. So to me, last year was less about the wins and losses. It was definitely about the wins and losses, but about the progress. And I think you saw progress in enough areas to be encouraged, and particularly on the offensive and defensive lines. Like, you can find skill. You'll always be able to find skill in the portal. Offensive and defensive lines at the highest level have to be developed. Florida State is an exception in that. And honestly, offensive line wise, they never got to great. They dipped in the portal for most of it. A lot of smaller school guys, but they were smaller school guys that were multiple year guys that developed for the most part. They had one transfer come in this year and play for them a lot. But they're an exception. I think what Miami's doing, the encouraging part, is that you see the high level talent on the offensive and defensive lines. And that is encouraging to me, to the point where, like, if you want me to sell you on some crazy Miami stuff, I can sell you. I can sell you on some Miami stuff now, because I think when you look at recruiting, they're recruiting as well as Clemson. When you look at the portal, they're portaling maybe not quite as well as Florida State, but close to as well as Florida State. They recruit better than Florida State. They portal better than Clemson. So when you look for the long term, I think you could convince yourself that Miami's sort of the place to buy stock for the long term. But I understand your hesitation because, I think from a coaching standpoint, there's a lot to prove on that stuff.
We just said before you came on, we feel Mario is a great architect. He has a blueprint. It worked at Oregon. But it seems like when you're trying to construct this from the South Florida bedrock, it's just not materializing on game day. You've watched a couple Miami Hurricane games. You saw what happened this year when we failed to kneel against your alma mater. What, in your opinion, is going on? Where is it's just not building from the ground up moment for the University of Miami Hurricanes?
So I do wonder, and you guys would have this answer much better than I, like, the culture of South Florida football, like, what is it? Is that some of what we're seeing reflected on the field at the University of Miami? I don't know the answer to that question. I've talked to people about the fact that they feel like some of the South Florida recruits have been a little overinflated from a recruiting standpoint, and I've talked to coaches about the challenge that you have finding offensive and defensive linemen in South Florida. I mean, you see where Mario had to go to find a lot of those guys there. So I do wonder if some of that creeps in. I think from a staff standpoint, this was a staff that I think any new staff has to learn each other. And I don't have any inside information there, but it felt to me like a lot of the year there was some learning to be done. And part of my assessment on Miami this year, like, I kind of consider them an 8-4 team more than a 7-5 team in the regular season, because, like, you're a knee away. Tyler Van Dyke's injury, I think it was much more severe than I knew. It was much more limiting and painful than I knew. And so originally in that Florida State game, I had sort of the take that, they should have played Tyler Van Dyke. At least he gives you the threat of throwing the ball. So a healthy Tyler Van Dyke, I do think, changes that game some, because the running game was so good in the first half. And then when Florida State realized, they can't throw the ball at all, then the game changed. So I do think, like, Miami's close in a couple of areas. But on the field, to be honest, I can't put a finger on it. and it's different. It's different than it was, like, in the Manny Diaz era. It's different than it was before that, because I do think there is sort of an attitude that this Miami team played with that was different in the past, particularly defensively. But I can't put a finger on exactly why it didn't click this year. So I'll err on the side of, like, youth and a coaching staff that had to get to know each other.
So were you secretly, like, how did you react to the Georgia Tech win? Did you laugh? Were you happy? Did you, like, I want to know, like, when you, first of all, what are they doing? What is he doing?
Yeah.
And then it turns around and you get, the two passes, the two receptions for a touchdown. Were you, I want to know your reaction. I know I don't like it. I don't know. I don't like what's coming.
Yeah. So to be completely honest with you, I turned the game off. Like, I was done with that game. I put it off to the side. It wasn't, like, officially off. Like, it was still on my iPad. I was in my hotel after a game. Like, the iPad got moved. I was like, okay, I am done with this. It's time to move on. Because there was another game on that night. I can't remember what the game was. There was another late game. And so I moved the iPad. And I looked down just to see like if the huddle was on at that point. Like, who were they going to interview? Was Mario Cristobal going to show up on set? I look over and Georgia Tech's got the football. And so I saw the last play of the game before I knew what happened before. And so I'm like in shock. I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened. I'm doing the math in my head. Like, did I do them? Like, did they have more time than I thought? Did they have timeouts? So I'm doing, and then I rewound obviously and saw what happened. So I didn't get to experience it in real time the way I should have. But yeah, of course we made fun of it. We made fun of it relentlessly for weeks. We played like the bend the knee. We had a whole montage of Game of Thrones, like bend the knee, like take a knee. We had a whole thing. And so it did provide us some good content on radio. But my Georgia Tech fandom couldn't come out because confusion reigned supreme.
So let's talk about this because, and I think that's one of the things that is creeping into Scoops not wanting to fully buy in mine as well, is that one of the things that we did, one of the knocks, Roddy, on Mario, even when he was at Oregon and when he was at FIU, was his game management. Just wasn't, you could find issues and poke holes and people wouldn't really be able to call you crazy or be a hater.
Right.
And we've seen that over a couple of years. And I think that is something that we had heard it, but didn't really realize. And now we're seeing it. And like, I don't know, I guess we're like, why doesn't this stuff get corrected? Why aren't you improving yourself as a head coach? And that, why are we seeing like, this is now twice, Roddy. I mean, it was funny with Georgia Tech, but it happened once at Oregon also. They could have taken a knee. They chose not to, and they ended up losing the game. Now that was slightly different because there still would have been time left on the clock, but still it backfired. And I don't know any other coach that's happened twice with. So, I mean, are we viewing too much into that? Are these just weird coincidences that just kind of happen and Mario will get over that? How do we break that down? How do we reconcile that?
So the answer is no. I don't think you're reading too much into it. Like, I think that is a red flag because look, there's a reason Saban's the greatest ever. Like yes, his teams were great and they did blow out a lot of people. But think of like 2nd and 26 in the national championship game. He benches Jalen Hurts and goes to Tua Tagovailoa, and they end up winning that game because Tua's in the game. Now, Tua takes the sack to get him there, but then he also throws the pass to Devontae Smith to win it. The Gravedigger play this past year, I can go back to 2012 when they played Georgia and a smart play at the end by one of the Alabama players tackling a guy in bounds. Is able to win them the SEC championship game against Georgia, and they go on and beat Notre Dame in the national championship. Like, some guys prepare their teams and make the right moves to win. Saban's not perfect, obviously. Like, they did have the kick six, but he's on the right side of that a lot more than he was on the wrong side of it. And that's like the extreme example of Saban. But you look over the course of time and like, he's been on the right side of those a lot. And the fact that like, in the latest era of college football, we can say Saban, Georgia has surpassed Alabama because they've won 2 national championships in 3 years, and Saban hasn't won one since 2020, all that stuff. But like, Saban still beat Georgia in 2 SEC championship games during that run. So, I think there's something to be said about what a head coach can do. Now, I don't think there's many elite ones, but I would certainly consider Mario one that there's concern about. And the thing that I think you hope is that Dan Radakovich or somebody in that building, I think it probably has to be Dan, walks into him and is like, look, man, you got to hire somebody to handle like the strategy. Hey, man, timeouts, 4th downs. Like, this is what we do. We got the budget, pay him 6 figures and tell him like, no, we kneel here. No, we go for it. All that stuff. So I think there's too much investment in that program to not get it fixed.
See, Roddy's smart. We always knew he was smart. We know that's where he is. That's why he is where he is. I said the same thing.
Did you?
Yeah, I was like, he's got, and Toast was giving me such monumental. If he can't do it himself, I'm like, no, hire somebody to be next to you. I don't care what you, like a little PDA assessment. I don't even care if he fits on your shoulder like Mirrorball. Put him in your pocket. Well, somebody.
You don't even need to pay him 6 figures. Get a 12-year-old that's great at Madden and just give him some cookies for crying out loud.
That's a great,
just
great
Neil.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Here's the reality. He has that guy. Hear me out. That guy is on staff.
Who is he?
That guy is his right-hand man. That guy is the guy who covers his ass. He is Mario's CYA.
And he's too busy building a great offensive line, and he's in those trenches.
He doesn't even do anything during the game. What are you doing as an offensive line?
I need some Harvard grad, MIT, whatever you have. He's got the glasses
Mario's
on.
Not listening to that
I don't
guy.
care. No, you got to listen to that guy.
I'm telling you, he's not listening to that guy. He doesn't trust
them. You might want to up your tempo a little bit and save that. You might want to use 2 of those timeouts, Mario, because against Rutgers.
Don't take him home.
He took him home. He took him right into the spring game, Roddy.
I can't claim this. Mike Golick Jr. sort of said this to me at one point about the college football playoff, that what they needed from a PR standpoint early on was like some Gen Zer who's in the room scrolling TikTok the whole time, not really paying attention, looks up every once in a while. I was like, those two teams played each other, and the team below the one team they beat the other team. So like, is that cool? Like, are we cool with that? I feel like Mario just needs that guy, like, who doesn't pay attention the whole game and then looks up at the end and is like, yo, why are we not taking a knee here? Like, we should do this. Should we use a timeout? And you have to give that guy full authority, maybe even give him power to call the timeouts himself or call plays. Like, he's got to have ultimate veto authority.
Safety officer.
That's great. You guys are cute. This whole conversation.
You want a guy on the sideline with like a yellow vest and a hard hat.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm used to that sort of thing in my line of work. We call him safety officer. Hey, Chief, you might want to not do that because you're about to burn the whole thing down. Hey, thanks, bro.
So right,
but in all seriousness, like the CEO of an organization, which are what these head coaches are now. Like, the CEO of an organization is not deciding the granular, where a marketing strategy is going to run. They oversee what the brand is supposed to represent. They bring in talent. They go out and they make people believe in the product. Like, a CEO oversees so much that you need the people in the trenches to say, all right, here's what the price of Pepsi is going to be today. Like, so I don't really fault Mario for not. It would not be an indictment to me if he went out and had that person, because he's so good at so many other things that I am willing to forgive his downfalls. Like, I would rather him than a coach that's great in game but can't recruit, because ultimately it's a talent acquisition business.
All right, so let me ask you this.
I mean, it's a corporation. We talk about all that. You're repeating everything that we say, and we love it. Thank you.
So let me ask you this, because you were saying you went into this season and you were kind of pegging them as more like kind of an 8-4 squad going in. Well, so now we're going into year 3. The roster has basically been completely turned over. These are all his guys now. This is his locker room, 3 recruiting cycles, portal cycles. Roddy, folks, some of the fan base have pointed to other programs that where the turnaround has been much quicker, whether it's what Kalen did in Washington coming off a 4-8 season, or what Jed Fish has done in Arizona, just other places. Would you think that the expectation this year with Cam Ward coming in, I mean, really is like 9 wins? Like, this should be the step forward year, right? You would think I think this has to be a proof of concept year. Like, I'm not sure Mike Norvell gets that much more time if they're not 10-3 his third year. I mean, the season before, they're 5-7 with a loss to Jacksonville State in an egregious way. So yeah, I think you do have to prove it at some point. Now, does it mean it has to be double-digit wins? I don't think so. I don't have the schedule up in front of me, but I mean, I can already think of a couple of landmines that they could hit along the way. And honestly, here's the frustrating thing, is if you look at Miami's season last year, if you just beat Georgia Tech, you can justify a loss to North Carolina, who was playing like a top 25 team at the time. NC State ended up as a top 25 team. Obviously, Florida State's undefeated and Louisville's in the ACC championship game. Like, if those are your 4 losses, you can sell that. Like, hey, we beat everybody else, but we lost to those 4, and it feels different. So I just think Miami has to, like, yes, they have to take a step forward. I'm very curious to see how the Cam Ward thing works, because statistically, he was great. But you dig a little bit deeper into some of the more advanced stuff, and it doesn't love Cam Ward nearly as much. And it sort of matches what we watched during the year. Like, the further we get removed from the season, the more we're going to love Cam Ward, because his numbers are incredible. We're going to look up in July and we're going to forget some of the games where he fumbled or he struggled or whatever.
and we're going to look at the numbers and be like, oh my gosh, he was incredible. But air raid offense, pure air raid offense, like what Ben Arbuckle does there is as pure air raid as you see in the country right now, like short passing game, quick. They're going to throw the ball all the time. So those numbers do get inflated some. He threw the ball more, I think, than all but 2 per game, 2 quarterbacks in the country. So if he doesn't get as many touches, how is he more efficient? Can he push the ball downfield more, which you haven't seen him do consistently a ton because it was a lot of short timing passing game. And then can he hold on to the football because there were turnover things? But yeah, they're going to have to prove it. Like Cam Ward was about as good as you were going to get in the portal from a quarterback standpoint this year. It was not a great portal for quarterbacks, I thought. But ultimately, Miami's going to have to. They're going to have to win games, and I think definitely 8 and 9 would certainly be a welcomed number to hit.
Yeah, I think that. Go ahead,
Roddy. I'm going to have you put on a CEO hat for a college. You can level with us, all right, from what you've seen in either direction, because he played at Clemson at one time. If you had to go ahead and get a QB1, are you leaning more towards the Cam Ward side or you're leaning more towards the DJU side? It's okay. You can say the Florida State side. But what side, seeing both of their game, obviously being familiar with DJU's side of that, and obviously was on the other side of the country, which way would you lean?
Yeah, I would have leaned Cam Ward personally, because I think what you see is what you get with DJU, and Cam Ward has a little bit more room to grow. Like you had the incarnate Word years. Remember, like his first year at Washington State, it's his first year at the Power 5 level, first year at FBS level. And so there were some growing pains last year. I think you saw steps forward. And so I think there's still steps forward to take. I don't know how DJ Uiagalelei performs in a system that doesn't protect him as much as Oregon State's did. It was some under center, but a lot of, turn your back, hard play action, sit back, long developing routes, throw the ball down the field. And they protected him really well. Some quarterback run game, and he was more into it than he was at Clemson. Like I think they sort of got to him. They're like, hey man, you're going to have to run hard because you're giant. But how would he survive in that system? I don't know. I've got some questions about the fit at Florida State, to be honest with you, although I think he fits better with Mike Norvell than he would have at Miami.
I'm very impressed with Mike Norvell. I think DJU can still be successful because one of the things I walked away impressed with throughout the course of the year, Florida State's screen game, I felt was a difference maker for them, because obviously there was something that, Lance Guidry tried to prepare for. They come at you in various different ways. And I think that's not really a hard sell for a quarterback, right? Hey, listen, we're going to keep this in a really short to the line of scrimmage area. And that's where I felt on Shannon Dawson's offense. Roddy, we were tit for tat. You could say Iowa, as far as being tight end, we didn't have a tight end in double digits in catches this year. Right. I mean, it was rough to watch. And I was like, even in a screen game for the tight ends. So
let me ask you guys, like, what? I know Elijah Royal was coming off the ACL. Like, what happened there? Well, I mean,
if you want to get to specifics, so I think in order to protect Tyler Van Dyke, which was a problem under the last regime, a lot of times we were sending 5 in rounds, and we just didn't have that prerogative to protect first. So we went to a lot of max looks.
Right.
So the tight ends were primarily used to block first, then release second, and a lot of times not in the primary route. So I felt like when we got into Georgia Tech, you guys were primarily zone. We were sending 3 people in the routes, but the tight end was used to blocks first. So it was like a lot of 3-man max, and they were just afterthoughts, Roddy. They were afterthoughts. And we used Cam. I mean, obviously he's on his Scott Patchen year. He was like 8th year into college football. Had some skills, but then some of the other guys were young. It just was a neglected position.
Yeah, we really hope to see Riley Williams step forward this year.
And when you have a Restrepo, you can do that, because as long as you kind of clear out and give him room to work, like he can work. And so I can definitely see that. To your DJ point, I think Mike Norvell has succeeded with multiple different style quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. And I do think he's a really good developer of talent. My main issue with DJ, and why I have questions about him at Clemson, or excuse me, at Florida State, and would have had questions about him wherever he went, is his short to intermediate accuracy. Is it good enough to rely on the screen game, for example. Like Clemson tried that stuff. He just wasn't accurate enough to do it. Like just raise up, throw the ball. Like he'd hit, 2 out of every, probably 2 out of every 3. That's not good enough, especially if it gets to be less than that, if it's every other one. And he throws a heavy ball. And so if you get some of those screens coming, some of the tunnel screens, some of the middle screens, even little slip screens, running backs and receivers, especially the receivers coming inside, like it's hard when a guy throws it like that. So has he learned it? Maybe. We didn't see it a lot at Oregon State. They didn't do a lot of that stuff. They did some screen game, but it was mostly, sort of the long developing screens where a guy gets a little outside and you can put some touch on it. So has he developed from that standpoint? Maybe. But I think it's sort of how he throws the ball too. And he's a giant person with giant hands and a giant arm. And he just throws a heavy ball. So I don't know. That's part of my concern there.
Question for you, Roddy. From a recruiting standpoint, go back to 2006, Chambly High. You're being recruited, and the coach lands a helicopter on the field to recruit you. Where does that kind of rank, do you think, in your mind as like, oh wow, this is pretty impressive?
In the snow.
Yeah, in the snow too. Yeah,
would have been at the top for me. Like I was begging a head coach to show up at Chambly High School. I think we only had a few. Now the next year when Amorge Uzi was getting recruited, like Saban showed up, Mark Richt showed up. Like we had a parade of people coming through. The helicopters are cool, man. But here's the thing, like it's sort of just gets you in the conversation now in terms of coolness, because Kirby's landing helicopters. Obviously, Saban's landed everybody's landed helicopters. Hell, Jeff Collins, when he was at Georgia Tech, was landing helicopters. So
there's a difference, though. I'm pretty sure that he was in some sort of Bell. Yes, when he was there, and I saw Norvell land an R-22 somewhere last year. So there's a difference in.
I have no idea. I have no idea what the difference in helicopters.
Well, you should look it up. You can look
Mario
up a Bell,
an
Aerostar, or you can look up an R-22.
So on the ranking, like Mario's helicopter, I'm guessing is like, I mean, this is the top shelf of helicopters.
It ate the R-22.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know what kind of helicopter it was, but it is a rinky-dink little helicopter. Like it ain't flying you very far.
Yeah, it's true. So I wanted to go because, and I thought about this and I remembered it. So screw you guys for taking all my time up. How much have you practiced Tua and DJ's last names?
A ton. Have you practiced Nico's last name?
He knows it.
Oliva. I am Oliva.
So I thought it was
Oliva.
I thought it was Iamaliava. Like I thought that's what it was. Is that? I don't know. I've been trying to practice.
You still don't know?
Listen, I know.
Did you hear him say Tua and then DJ's last name though? Like this dude's been in the mirror practicing this shit.
Yeah, that's why he is where he is.
That's right.
It rolls like Uyangalele and Tagovailoa roll off the tongue, and so at some point,
is that right?
At some point, yeah, you got it. At some point, like I'm pretty sure it's Iamaliava, but the thing is, I still second guess myself. So I was doing raps for the Tennessee game, and me and Matt are in there, and we're going through the pronunciation, we're hyping ourselves up to do it. And so Matt goes for it, dives in head first and completely butchers it. Complete lack of confidence after he got past Nico. And so he sort of looks at me like, all right, you go. And I'm like, I'm not getting anywhere near that thing right now. I am in my mind. Nico? I am in my mind. So yeah, we'll figure it out at some point. He's gonna be a player though. Like, he's a good player.
Yeah. Look, I mean, he was the top kid last year, right? Yeah. I mean, shouldn't surprise anybody.
Yeah. It's
watching him. I'm a big fan of him. What was your take on him watching him?
I think the fluid athleticism is one thing. He throws the ball with ease. I think if he fills out, especially like he's looking skinny. At a guy, he is very skinny. But I think from a skill standpoint, projecting down the line, you're looking at a dude. Like you're looking at a top 10 dude.
Yeah.
He was the number 1 volleyball player in the country coming out, so the athleticism is there. I just think he's such a fluid athlete, and that's a really tough Iowa defense he played. And so for him to not get frustrated with the struggles that they had throwing the ball at times, which everybody did against Iowa, and use his legs some, I thought was really impressive. I thought the way he handled it all was really impressive.
Iowa didn't score a point in like the last 3 games.
That's
That's like you have to try to do that.
Yeah,
try to not score.
I mean, Deacon Hill.
Wild.
The thing is, against Tennessee, they were inside the 10-yard line, and Deacon Hill throws an interception, a bad interception too. Like they had points. But yeah, I mean,
it's so brutal.
Iowa football. That's the thing about, we talked, Michigan was the best team in the country from beginning to end, so I don't want to take it away from them. But we all act like the SEC and the Big Ten are on the same level. They're not. The Big Ten was awful last year. Like, it was terrible. None of the Big Ten West teams could score. Penn State couldn't get past the other two. There were flaws everywhere. And so, like, when you have an entire conference that is like allergic to offense, how can you be a good conference?
It's like the Big 12 being allergic to defense.
Speaking of conference, when did you realize that an undefeated ACC team was not getting into the playoffs?
I realized it was a possibility probably at the beginning of November, because the narrative around Florida State was shaping itself for it to happen. I disagreed with it. I think if you win all your games, you get the opportunity to get your ass kicked. Like, you at least get the opportunity.
They got the opportunity.
Yeah. Fair. Yes. That was good. But I think they obviously should have gotten in. I thought the narrative around Florida State not being one of the best four teams, probably around mid-November, started to creep in, and you saw the way that people started to talk about the other teams become a possibility, which, like, was the committee wrong in their assessment of whether or not Florida State was one of the best four teams? No. Were they wrong in their adjudication of the word best in that scenario? I think yes, because 13-0 trumps everything.
You nailed it for me. It's when I started to hear the narrative, it's the best teams. And then I just realized that the team that got in, and sometimes I had this epiphany, Roddy. Do you know the SEC theme song? Just picture it in your mind. You know it, right?
I mean, I know it just means more. I don't know the SEC theme song, though.
Like CBS plays at 3:30.
Oh, yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
I just think you got to tip your hat. They play wonderful ball down there. We get it. They've gotten a lot of time. They lost their flag bearer, Nick Saban, so I'm curious to see what happens moving forward. But it's just when I started to hear just over and over, it's the best teams. I'm like, oh, Florida State's got no shot.
Yeah.
They got no shot. And you're right. They deserved it. I don't want to belabor the point, but I just wanted to hear from you. When did you realize that they weren't getting in? Because I think, like a lot of people in the industry, you realized it was way before that playoff committee came out.
And look, I hold, like, my voice doesn't carry any weight, but I hold myself accountable for it too. Like, I was one of those people that was like, man, like, Florida State played this team, I don't think they win. Florida State played this team, I don't think they win. Now, I always maintain they deserve to get in, but I will credit the SEC, the marketing media machine that they cranked up with Sankey on game day and Kirby out there and Saban out there. I don't think it hurt, and it certainly, from a national standpoint,
didn't hurt.
Made them visible, and the ACC didn't operate that way, which is, I think, part of Florida State's frustration.
All right, why don't we?
They can deal with the countersuit now. So how
about that?
Exactly. Oh my God!
Hey, you want to poke the bear?
Messy.
Yeah. I am. How is that being received in South Florida? Like, is it
well?
Oh yeah, we love it. Yeah.
I mean, what are they going to do?
We're not upset about it.
They just reported that they have no money. They lost money this year, their athletic department or whatever. And what are they going to do? The buyout's like $500 million, Roddy. They don't have that money. They don't have that money.
And they just get.
Why would a venture capitalist invest in that if you don't get it? What do you get for that?
Yeah,
with a bump and raise.
They just extended Norvell. They're in the middle, or they're just beginning a $400 million renovation.
They're still paying
stadium.
Taggart.
Are they really? Is that true?
Willie? Yeah, Slick Willie, man. Slick Willie's getting paid forever.
Oh, God bless Willie.
He's on the Bobby Bonilla plan.
That's what we say. That's what we say.
Bobby Bonilla, Shohei Ohtani, Jimbo Fisher plan. Yeah. I love it.
Yes.
May we all strive to be on that plan one day.
Right? Huh? Yeah. We would all be on a beach somewhere with some margaritas.
Let's get into 5 questions.
So Roddy, okay. You got time to do some 5 questions, Roddy?
Absolutely.
It's quick. It's quick.
5 questions.
No. We started early. We got all night.
Oh,
how are the girls, by the way? How are the girls?
Phenomenal, man. They're great.
Are they into volleyball too now, or what?
So they are getting into it. The oldest is 6. So we have not yet like fully gone into it. Volleyball starts a lot later than all the other sports because you have to get the ball over the net. So they've got a few years, but we've got them in some camps and stuff, and they enjoy it.
Maybe we should get Roddy's wife to old personal note. So Ro, his daughter, how old is Tally now? She's 14 now?
She's 14.
She's 14. One of the top 14-year-olds in the country.
Let's go. Oh, yeah. Boy.
Legit.
I'll probably see you at one of these. Like, hit me up and let me know if you're coming to one of the tournaments in Atlanta. Let me know because I'll definitely.
We've been to Atlanta. Actually, we did really well in Atlanta. Won our national bid last year, but we're not going to Atlanta. But we're going to KC.
My wife will be out in Kansas City, so
yeah.
I don't know if
we're
going
out.
to make that trip.
Yeah, we're out in Kansas City for that February invitational. So it's going to be cold. So I'm gonna be like Mike McDaniel. I'm not going to be like Mike McDaniel and I have those kind of pants, but I will.
Make sure your lips don't look like Tyreek Hill's. Like my man looked like Tyrell Biggums.
Your mustache looked like Andy Reid's.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'd say he looked a little bit like Michael Irvin back in the day, but that probably won't go over well.
I love the club volleyball scene. I'm pumped for you, man. It's fun.
Yeah, it is. It's not being my sport and just like kind of growing into it with my daughter. Right. It's been phenomenal. But question number 1, what is a quote that has always stuck with you?
Paul Johnson used to tell us that
love Paul Johnson.
Yeah. High expectations will not survive low standards. And so like that has always stuck with me. And some people, it's how you do everything, how you do anything, how you do everything, all this stuff. But like that to me, like if you expect something out of yourself, your standards have to match it. You have to operate the same way. So he used to say that all the time. The other one that stands out is I'm going to treat y'all fairly, but I'm not going to treat y'all equally. And I feel like that in parenting. So both of those.
I would say mine later on in life, I learned the quote. It is not wrong. It is different.
Oh, I like that.
And when I learned to apply that in relationship sense, especially between a man and a woman being married to my wife, when I realized that she wasn't wrong how she handled things, she was just different. And I just learned to apply that in so many other areas of my life. That radically changed me.
I love that. I feel like from a marriage perspective, that
it's a good one.
It is a game changer once you get to that point. And I've never really had it like that, but I think mine was more sort of a realization and respect that we're trying to accomplish the same things. Mm-hmm. We don't see it the same way, but like as long as we're working towards the same goal, like I can sort of get by stuff. But I love that.
It is, and it's true. You guys are trying to. I get this all the time. Anytime we get into any sort of math discussion, anything that involves numbers, Steph's, I can't do this with you. I hate doing this with you. We're trying to get to the same answer.
Yeah,
and we think we're on opposite sides of the planet. Pretty funny. Toast?
Funny. Mine is be brilliant at the basics.
Oh, I love that.
This is all like therapeutic and shit.
By the way, Roddy, Scoop is terrible at this game.
I am not terrible at this game. Here's the thing. I'm actually either really good or just really dog shit.
What are you going to be on this one?
I don't know. But it's yet to be determined. I will say, I don't know the quote exactly, but it's one of Saban's quotes and how he mentions that mediocre people, I don't know if he says hate, dislike overachievers.
Yeah. And then he goes the inverse too. And high achievers don't like mediocre people.
Yeah. It's a great speech. He's such a good speaker, dude.
I mean, his ability to motivate people, I think it's got to be unmatched. I mean,
speaking of that, anyone see Jimmy Johnson halftime of the Cowboys game?
Didn't see it. Heard he went nuts.
Oh my God, dude. He gave a halftime speech to the Cowboys to get off their asses that Gronk was ready. Like, I'm ready to play. Straight hand, got down on all fours. He's like, I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Awesome. Side note,
I heard he went nuts.
Gronk makes Michael Strahan look really small. Not small, but like makes Michael Strahan
so big, dude.
Look like a normal size.
Everybody looks small in that set.
He's
huge.
Massive. He is.
He's huge.
That's without pads.
Right.
Yeah.
If you could...
That's your daughter's thermos, bro. You can't. What are you doing?
My wife's. It's my wife's. Yeah.
If the little straw in the end. I know those.
And it's got and you can go with the big.
And
full drink.
If you could live in any TV fictional universe, what TV fictional universe would you live in?
Oh man. My favorite TV fictional universe is probably Game of Thrones. I'm not sure I'd want to live there though.
You definitely shame. You might get shamed, Roddy. You can't get shamed.
Right. Maybe more House of Dragons, where like, if you're in one of the other places, you're not, and maybe
you are not safe on that show. I don't know. You are not safe.
No one's safe on that show.
There's one rule going into that show is don't fall in love with any character.
1,000%. So I'll go Peaky Blinders. Like I feel like
still haven't watched
much more straightforward. Oh,
still haven't watched it.
It's so
that good, huh?
Also, it'd give me I could have the Birmingham accent. Like, I could get going there. Off the shelf.
Cillian Murphy's so good. I heard it's so good.
Say again.
Cillian Murphy's in that, right?
Yeah, he's the lead character. Yeah. So that'd be cool. I mean, it's like what are they? Middle England in the 1920s. So sure, I'll go there.
I'm going Star Trek.
That's a good one.
Star Trek universe.
All right, I'm going into Mandalorian universe. I'm straight up into the Mandalorian.
Shocker, yeah.
I was gonna say as soon as I said it, Scoop was just gonna be pissed. He's like, "Of course, shocker, you Star Wars."
Think about that. I'd probably go like Loki now. Go to something multiversal. Now that I'm glad you said that.
What'd you think of the last season?
I have not watched it. Okay. I'm like a lot of people. I've kind of soured on it a little bit. I didn't like. I love the first season of Loki. I have not watched the last.
It was amazing.
Season.
It was.
The last season was amazing.
Oh no, the first season was amazing. The second season kind of took a step back. Yeah. It was well written. I got to appreciate it for that. And the way it ended, okay, fan of it, but still, it was
a little Marvel overload.
Yeah. No,
I'm kind of suffering from that. I think a little Marvel overload, to be honest.
I was all in. Like they've lost their way. They don't know what they're trying to accomplish anymore. And they forgot what got them there. Like they made us care about these characters. Like no one cared about Iron Man or Captain America or Thor. Like no one knew they knew Batman, Superman. They made us care about the characters, and they sort of built them up. And now we've got like Captain Marvel, and obviously the King the Conqueror stuff like really hurts them. I think Black Panther dying hurts because I think he was going to be a big part of obviously Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. Like that was something unforeseen. But I think they've lost their way.
I think the biggest issue is you culminated that whole thing with 2 movies and you called it Endgame, and you kept on going. Like you shouldn't have called it Endgame. It just because psychologically it ended it for a lot of people.
Yeah,
and then you bring in, as you said, all these new stars that no one knows, and it's like, where's Robert Downey Jr.?
People kind of don't like.
Yes,
Scoopy, what universe you living in, bro? You didn't answer.
We gave you plenty of time to think about it.
I'm just admiring the stuff that I know nothing about.
God, just say Seinfeld and be done with it. Or
no,
something.
You know what? I kid you not. I thought of universe and like outer space. You know what the first thing that popped into my mind was?
He-Man.
Reading Rainbow.
Oh my God! There you go. All right, LeVar Burton. You're in the Reading Rainbow universe. What the hell is that?
The little flying school bus or whatever it was.
I told you,
Magic School Bus. Magic School Bus slaps. It's still great.
See, that's a universe, right?
It's brought it back. My kids have. It's great.
Wow.
Bluey's where I would live. I'd be a blue healer.
I'm going to ask this question because it's 4 males on here, and I don't think we need to like going in order. We're just gonna figure this out together. But here's the question: we're just gonna roll with it. What does childbirth feel like?
Kidney stones. It's as simple as you get. It's not any. That's it.
If you had to describe to someone who's never had kidney stones what that feels like,
I've never had kidney stones,
so I don't know. Our boy has.
Okay. All right, here we go.
All right, here we go.
You take about an 8-inch blade.
Oh.
And you just shove it into the kidney there.
And that's how it feels.
And then when it's not enough, you twist it.
Oh.
And then you kind of I gotta piss it out. And you go and you try and you don't. So when you come back to the couch, you twist it again.
Oh.
It's good
stuff.
Awful. So the story is I got taken to the ER. This was my first bad one. Got taken to the ER, and I'm on. No, they hadn't given me the Dilaudid yet. They gave me the Toradol, which did nothing, right? And I'm sitting in this chair, this blue chair in the hallway. They just stuck me in the hallway, right? And I'm like this, like just curled up. And this surgeon or doctor, whatever, walks past me. He looks at me and he goes, "Stone?"
Oh,
Kid you not. And I was like, and he goes, it's the only thing that can make a man look like that.
Yeah. But I would imagine it's like that. Story. I mean, I feel like that's the best answer.
I mean, it's not coming up between my ass cheeks. But
I was just going to say it's like taking the magic school bus through a small hallway.
There you go. That's better than mine.
Yeah, that's about it.
Things aren't going to be the same after that. No. Never again.
No.
Never again.
Exercise. Never get exercises for that shit.
So my daughter Natalia, she was first. Now I'm in fire rescue, Roddy, and I delivered a baby a week before my daughter was born.
Did you really?
Yeah, and it was a horrible story. And so we went there. I had like one rule early in my career. I was like, listen, this was about 14 years ago. I'm like, I start with one patient in the back and I'm going to end with one patient in the back. I don't want to. So this woman's like, I feel like the baby's coming. We got to go. And I look and she's crowning. I'm like, we got to go. So she had the bag of waters, right? It hadn't burst yet. And I just had a clinical round of students in the OB floor. And I saw this procedure where they took a plastic hook and they got the bag of waters and it was a gentle kind of a thing. And it was fine. I was like, okay, so we didn't have that protocol. We don't have that protocol. It's a very rare occurrence, but I'm staring at this woman crowning. I'm right there like this. Oh. And there's the bag of waters. And she says, I need to push. And I'm like, I'm good at catching things. So here we go, woman, let's go. Right. And the bag of waters blew up in my face.
Did it really?
Oh. Yes, it did. To which I had a student, Roddy, and I'll always remember his face for the rest of my life. And I know his name.
It's like Roddy's face.
His name is Eric. Eric, right? And I looked at Eric, and Roddy gave me flipper hands. He was like this, like that. And I was like, it's all over my face. Like, no. So,
like Men in Black.
But you still have a job to do. Right.
Yeah, I still got a job to do. And then by the time I delivered this baby, it's in my hands. It's all over my face. And I literally look at her. I'm like, take your baby, woman. Just take the baby. So my wife is delivering and they're like, oh, do you want to catch the baby? And I'm like, no.
I'm a North Pole dad, not a South Pole dad.
Thank you.
North Pole dad.
Thank you.
Certain things I don't need to see.
I love it.
And honestly, you see more than you think you would see from the North Pole.
Totally.
Yeah.
Everything condenses. It's like a black hole. Like things get smaller. From a space standpoint.
Most things get smaller.
I kind of have to say this, and I shouldn't, but I got advice one time. If you really like your favorite restaurant, you don't have to look what's going on in the kitchen. So that's the advice I took.
There you go. Nice.
He says it North Pole. I say it like that.
Yep.
What?
I got you.
What?
I got you.
What is your old person trait?
Oh man, my old
I've got a lot of them in the past 12 months. I'll be honest with you.
It's a great question. I probably have a bunch of them. So I have a robe. You guys are lucky I'm not wearing it right now. I wear this robe. I'm a robe guy. I have always been I love
That's
robes.
Fantastic.
Around the house, like I am usually wearing a robe. On radio in the mornings, and it's not because I just woke up. I mean, we got kids. They got to get up early. We've been up for 2.5, 3 hours by the time 8 o'clock rolls around. I'm still in the robe. So I'm robes and slippers. Those are my old man traits.
That's really good. And we make fun of, so you wear the robe around the house, but Ro sleeps in pajama pants.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah.
Right. Yes,
I do.
It's ridiculous,
Feels
isn't
hot. Feels like there's a lot there.
What are you doing?
No, it's not hot. It's really not that hot at all.
So it is.
And in the winter,
ridiculous.
he's got ones that have feet on them.
Yeah.
Well, I just sleep in
booties.
socks sometimes. Sometimes that's more of a function thing. Like my feet get real dry, so I got to put lotion on them and sleep with socks on.
Okay.
Oh.
And so, other than that, I'm like completely in the buff. It just
I
got my
appreciate
socks on.
the foot care. Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like I neglect my feet, which drives me.
Bro, let me tell you. Do you
It's
ever?
foot management.
My favorite little thing that my wife got me was it's basically like a belt sander for your heels. And bro, I have so much fun with that thing, man. Oh my god, the calloused heels where I'm just sitting there grinding. It's so much fun. The skin just flying everywhere. It's like snow.
Yeah. Are you guys robe guys? Do you guys robe slippers?
No.
I go to the mailbox and robe. Like my robe.
You do really?
Oh yeah,
bro. That is the best old man trait on here.
I give zero.
I mean, Roddy's gonna win this just by default. He went first.
How many?
But I'm just thinking he has like a pipe, and he just got
Okay.
slippers, and I'm gonna go ahead and get to the mailbox.
For like
see,
6 years too.
So hold on. What time are you going to the mailbox in the robe?
What depends on if I have the robe on and I'm going outside. It's like it's the robe staying on, so it could be
initials
7 in the morning.
You have initials?
No.
Yeah, and script.
Although
personalized initials.
A few years ago, I'm sorry guys, I have 3 robes. A few years ago, I got a robe that has dad on it. Like that was sort of my wife's present when our first was born that Christmas. She got me a dad robe, and so. But now I have what's called a dude robe. I'm not sponsored by Dude Robe, but if you want to sponsor me,
what's a dude robe?
It's just like it fits more like a hoodie up top.
Yes.
Like the sleeves are not like droopy. They're sort of a little tighter. They've got like cuffs on the end. So it's legit.
I might have to try this. I love robes in hotel rooms.
Me too. I wear them all the time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I do. I love robes in hotel rooms. And Ro double bags the pajama pants in hotels.
No,
he does. He'll tell you.
What is your
he
old
hates
person
being
trait?
Unclothed.
What is your old person trait there, Scoopy?
I think lately, other than the fact that I can't see worth a shit, and I have to use these readers, which I said I would never use. I think if it's even in the 70s, I'll wear a hoodie, but I'll wear it up because my ears, I got big ears, so my ears get cold. Uh-huh. So it's like one of those things. Like I go out to the soccer field for Maven, and it's 70 degrees, and it's at night, and it's dark, and it's a little windy, and I'm like bloop, and all of a sudden I've got like an insulation, and Steph's like, "You're so fucking old. Like, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I want my ears to be cold."
Blame you.
So I'm going with that. So I like this dude robe thing with the hoodie.
It's great.
She's gonna hate you for this.
Tosi,
mine is the worst, bro. Mine is the worst. I am beginning to get annoyed by folks that are breaking the HOA rules.
You're a narc. You HOA narc.
Annoyed by some of the folks that are flaunting some of the HOA rules.
You narc.
It's awful. I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing? No, no.
Then are you shaking your fist at them from your porch?
Right.
Yeah. With your robe?
Mentally I am. Yes, mentally. I'm out there in a robe with my cane.
This cane.
Get off my lawn. I will tell you.
Garbage is next week.
My old person trait is if I hear this theme song, it is immediately sucking me in for the next 15 to 20 minutes. But if I hear the theme song, thank you for being a friend, I'm a big Golden Girls fan. That show is amazing.
It was amazing.
It was so good. And when
they
you're
were fantastic,
kid and you're watching that, you don't get the innuendo.
No,
you don't until you're much older. You heard the laugh track and you were just like, whatever. And these old ladies, whatever. But now you go back and you listen to some of those shows back then. Oh my goodness, they are like, I keep saying, if I had no idea why Three's Company, why my grandfather would be in tears. I went back and watched an episode of Three's Company. I know why he was in tears.
That good. That's awesome.
Do you know there was a show after Golden Girls? There was a spinoff.
Yes, and it did terrible. Yeah,
yes, it was awful. Within a weird cast too.
Because
they owned like a hotel.
Yeah, because B. Arthur left the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I told you. So there you go.
I thought you were going to go Price is Right there, which is another show. I mean that
was if you were homesick, I mean that thing was on religiously.
It was that and Days of Our Lives.
You could
binge on that. That's right. Days of Our Lives.
Sands of the Hourglass. Days of
every day.
Every day. Patch, Kayla. Yeah.
Last week we did
Jennifer Aniston's dad.
Favorite. Yeah. What's his name? He just
Arthur.
Died, right?
He just Arthur or Kyriakis. Victor.
Victor.
That's who he was on that. But he was
we were talking about who's and this is a question from last week, but who's your favorite TV character ever?
My favorite Jack Bauer from 24.
Oh, he was brought up.
Yeah,
Jack Bauer.
I think Jenner's brought him up. Where is Jenner's? What are you doing? Why don't you have your video?
I'm here. Well, you guys are doing an interview. Letting you go, man. Get out of here.
Put your camera on for Christ's sake.
Jack Bauer.
There you go. What a great show that was, man.
Chloe, help me.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Best binge show ever.
Yep.
It's. I mean, I a lot of questions about the logistics, especially as I've gotten older, but phenomenal show.
Yes.
Did you ever watch Prison Break?
No, I started it, but I never got through it.
God, dude.
Yeah, I'm really bad.
One of the most underrated shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, bad.
Stupid good.
Shows. Yeah.
All right,
I'll put it on the
list.
I think that's it, right?
I thought we had one more. That was 5.
That was 5.
And a bonus. TV
bonus.
characters.
I
Let's
think.
go.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, 5 questions.
Roddy, thank you very much, man.
Oh, you guys
As
are the
always,
best.
an absolute pleasure having you.
I say we can have him on every week. We should.
You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Anytime you call, I'm here.
So we'll get
Well, you know
out
why
right
he-
before
hold
the
on, you-
season,
this is
and
a true
then when-
story.
Well, we're going to get you out right in the beginning of the season. You'll be able to see how Scoop's drinking all the Kool-Aid by that point.
Yeah. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the
Because week 1 we go into Gainesville to take on the Gators.
the gallons of Powerade, not Gatorade, of Kool-Aid that you will be.
That's right.
You'll be drinking.
That's right. Heading into that dump up there.
Swamp. Yeah. So I went to the swamp for the first time, and I got to say it was kind of cool. But they got some issues. I like that. I actually like that for a first game. I like that because it's
a prime time.
And it's a game that could age very well because I do think there's talent on that team. They're super young last year, and I think Graham Mertz showed some flashes. Billy's a good coach. Like I think they'll get it together a little bit. I'm not sure what their
schedule, Roddy, is insane.
Schedule's brutal. It's a schedule that gets a coach fired.
Worst I've ever seen.
Yeah,
but it could. Well, USC's is pretty bad too. It could down the line, like they get a couple of wins, and you can sell that win at the beginning as looking better. So I actually kind of like that as an opening game for the Kings.
Yeah, they won't.
Jackets take on Florida State and Ireland to start.
Yes, you guys do. Yes, that's right.
What?
Yes,
Ireland.
Nice.
Week 0.
That's what happened over here.
Yeah, we'll have a drink in the pub.
So we
the whole way over there.
You know the reason why we can't have Roddy on during the season?
Why?
Because we record on Wednesday nights.
Yes, sure.
So we can adjust. We can adjust.
Look, I'm not getting in the way of that. You know why you can't do it?
So last year,
it's personal time.
Wednesday night was carved out for the wifey.
Yeah,
it's a lot of traveling, a lot of stuff going on.
It's necessary.
And it was late enough in the week where I already had enough game stuff done where we could block it out. And we could just put the work away. So
we could always do something on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I thought, look, it was awesome, and I gave him a little shit, but he knows it's all in jest.
Thank you very much, Roddy.
Anytime you guys call, I love it. Love catching up.
Awesome, bro. You have a wonderful rest of your evening and week, sir.
Appreciate it. See
Thanks, dude. Later.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
He's
so much good stuff in there.
We've had so many great.
That's why we call it the stroke.
Best
because when you do it, you lose your fucking mind. And how many times do we do this? Fuck no! We'll do it 18 times. Just waiting for the perfect moment.
So what are we calling this thing? Do we have our name?
Oh, goodness. Do you want to roll with assless chaps, which happened before the show even started?
We could do that, but I also had one.
Okay, right. I wrote down 3 or 4. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm Rick Bange, bitches.
That's pretty good. I didn't write that down. That is pretty good. I wrote down Dementia Bowl Boys.
Wow.
The Reading Rainbow Universe.
Oh, yeah.
And the Magic School Bus in a Small Hallway.
Magic School Bus in a Small Hallway.
Kind of a long title, but funny.
That is a long title. I think if it fits, we go with it.
Yeah. Magic School Bus. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, it's awesome.
I don't know how we haven't gotten canceled yet.
Right?
Roddy's going to look at this episode and go, the hell did they call this? What show did I appear on?
Well, he was on for it.
You were here, man.
He laughed.
You knew it was coming.
Magic School Bus in a
I
long
love that he
over.
wears, next time he's on, he has to wear a bathrobe.
Next time we are on, we should all wear
Yes,
bathrobes.
we'll all wear bathrobes.
We should
Oh,
all
ambush him.
There you go.
Ambush him in rows.
Don't
Ambush
tell
him
him,
with
and we'll
that-
all
yeah.
put robes on.
Robe ambush.
100%.
100%. Beautiful.
So
Hey, what's up,
good.
Roddy? He'd be like, "Are you guys all in bathrobes?" Yes, we are.
Yes, we
He'll put it
get
together
yours.
real fast.
He might not even say anything. He'll know.
Yeah. So, like, Jenners, you know how you do our predictions ahead of time? That's just, can you put that in a note?
Noted.
Next time, have Roddy on. You
Noted.
guys are needing to get. All right, cool, fantastic.
Beautiful.
Oh my God, it's so good.
All right. That
All right,
it?
boys. Yeah.
All right. As always, go Kings!
Yo.
Bange.